Hi, and you're so welcome. I'm Sarah Leather, and I'm thrilled to be here with you. And I help established business owners, mostly women in perimenopause, menopause, and beyond, or in midlife, to absolutely thrive and flourish in their business with simplicity, with doing business in the simplest way possible, so they can really lean into their lives and really enjoy their lives whilst making more than enough money for now and into their future. I'm a little bit obsessed with with this lately, that I've always been obsessed with helping women to make money because I experienced in my life growing up and have come across it so much for women who did not get remunerated enough, did not have their own money, and that really affected their choices in the world, their freedom, even when they were born into maybe into some level of privilege. Definitely being a white woman in the West, that definitely comes into it. But you know, it being a struggle, and it doesn't need to be like that. And I am, yeah, loving speaking about this more and more and more, really helping women to feel more than worthy, to have more than enough, and to love their lives. I've been speaking quite a lot lately about having a life first business, and that means, letting your life lead your business rather than your business lead your life. Because for many years, I was a little bit addicted to my business. I was kind of all over it, working, particularly when I had four much younger children. They're pretty grown up now. My four kids are sort of 24 to 31. So yeah, they're pretty grown up and more mature than me in lots of ways. But when they were younger, I worked a lot. I worked when I could around the kids. I worked when they were at school. I would do all the after school kind of stuff. Happy hour, I used to call it, from like about 3 till whenever, hours later, much longer than an hour. Dinner, homework, after school stuff, all the things, not to mention all of the school holidays, and then would go back to work in the evening when my husband was home and able to take over. And yeah, that's the way it was for a very, very long time. And it's very different now, because what I what's really important is to really look at the season that you're in your life and in your business. Now I'm in the season, I'm definitely in my simplicity era, of spaciousness and freedom and travel and adventure, and also all the other things that come with midlife. Grieving the loss of my mother last year, just coming up to her first anniversary in a few days' time, and yeah, navigating that, navigating what's next, navigating everything that's going on. And I know with so many of my clients, they are navigating massive, big life changes, maybe supporting aging parents, maybe supporting young adult children, or even quite young children with a lot of my clients. Many of my clients don't have children, but are navigating life all the same. And it's about your business being able to support your life and not the other way around. So for the longest time, I really felt like my business was the priority. And my business was what took so much of my bandwidth and energy. And because there was so much of my bandwidth and energy going in other places as well, it felt like I was kind of always on and always busy. And that was the reality of it, because that was the season I was in, and I'm not sure I'd have it any other way. There are some things I would change if I had it again, but, like, hindsight's always a wonderful thing, isn't it? And it was always that way. I was always leaning into work. When I was 13, I lied about my age and said I was 14, because in Australia, we were allowed to work at 14. So I lied and went and got a job in the school holidays and things, because It was, if I wasn't doing that, my parents had their own business. I would just have to work for nothing in my parents' business, or I could go and work for money in a shop down the road. I chose the latter and absolutely loved it. And then when we moved, that was when we were living in Adelaide when I was younger, and then we moved to Perth in Western Australia. And then I got a job pretty well straight away in a local sort of small department store that I worked all the way through high school from like 14 to 17 until I actually, as soon as I finished school, I went and got a different job. I'd had enough of working in that department store because I used to work all the school holidays and Thursday nights and Saturday mornings, which were busy kind of shop times. That was before all day trading on Saturdays and Sundays came in. It was, yeah, Thursday nights and Saturday mornings were a really busy time. And the once I left school, I got a job in it was a sort of a fairly small Woolworths supermarket in the city because I just wanted something different whilst I was waiting for the final exam results to come through and figure out, was I going to university or was I going to do nursing that I'd applied for as well. And I was working in this supermarket, and they soon took me from the checkouts to doing some back office stuff. And then I was there for 3 months when I told the manager I was leaving to go and be a nurse. And he looked like he was going to cry. It was so funny. I shouldn't laugh. But it was like, he was just like, but I wanted to train you. I wanted to train you as an assistant manager. You're really good. And I was like, yeah, I know, but like, bye. And it was so funny. It was sort of really like he had this expectations. I mean, we hadn't had a conversation about like that I was going to spend the rest of my life inside that place. But anyway, off I went. And did nursing. The reason I chose nursing over going to university and studying maths was because I got paid as a nurse. We got paid in those days, student nurses got paid, used to get paid $143 in cash every Friday, which I loved. I loved going and get my cash. I love spending it too. And loved planning my next holidays. We got paid holidays, so I loved going. I went to Bali, I went to Queensland, went to like loads of different places. But I just loved having money. I loved having my own money because I had watched my mum work full time in our family business all through my younger years and virtually get paid next to nothing. She got paid $20 a week for all the work that she did. And, I really wanted my own money. And I think that women really deserve to be paid well. I was at a talk last week in a university here in Ireland, and it was talking about a lot of different things around decision making and things. And one thing that came up was about the gender pay gap. It's still, women still get paid 10% less than men do in Ireland doing exactly the same work. That's overall. I know in the public service they get paid exactly the same. So in private it means there's even more of a discrepancy. And one thing that you've possibly heard me talking about before is I'm a real champion for women having their own pensions or their own money for the future, because women still have, in most Western countries, around 30, sometimes it's up to 50% less than men of the same age. Mostly because women very often step away from paid work for maybe having kids or minding parents or being a caregiver to somebody. And just have less. And women live longer than men, so they have to live longer with less, and that's not okay. And women are becoming very vulnerable in so many countries around the world by not having enough. And that's another reason why I'm obsessed with women making more than enough in their businesses, is because for this reason, so they have enough now, enough in the future. And I think with with our own businesses, we can really make an impact into that gender discrepancy. And that's nothing against men. I love men. I'm married to one. I've got three of my four children are men. Um, really, really do love them. But it's still wrong. There's still a lot of unconscious bias around it. And there's still a lot of work to be done there, but we can, through really leaning into creating abundant businesses, we can make a big difference. And it starts with ourselves. We have to do it for ourselves first, before we can help anybody else. So that's why I really love helping women to create more more than enough for now, more than enough for their future. And it really is such a joy to be able to do this in business. And what's important, particularly as the years go on, and just talking about this like season and really honoring the season that you're in. And sometimes the season is for really leaning in and stacking the cash and making more money, and putting that aside. Like here in this country, putting it into a pension is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best ways to do it. But you have to look at where you live and what the rules are and where the biggest gains are. And even I would really like, I can see, like, I started paying into my pension in my 40s, which was kind of late. Um, but even still, I can see the difference that's made now that I'm 60. I can really see the difference it's made to have started then. But it doesn't matter I don't care how old anybody is. I'm still at 60. I'm still focusing on putting money aside for my future. It's still a big focus of me when it comes to earning money in my business. So what I wanted to talk about around this, the season that you're in and the purpose for this season. I don't really believe in life purpose. I don't believe we were born to just do one thing. Like, most of us are multi-passionate and multifaceted and multi-everything, and we change and evolve over time. And so I don't believe like we have to find our purpose in life. I think young people can get very tied in knots around it and do a lot. I was in my 20s, my late 20s, when I was doing a lot of personal growth work. I was really searching for something, searching for this purpose that I felt like was eluding me. And even though I had gone from being a trained nurse and got experienced as a nurse and traveled around the country when I met my husband, and even though I was back studying naturopathy, I was, pivoting my career at that stage, just in my mid-20s, but I was searching. I was on this like soul-searching mission for my purpose then. And I'm just like, no, there's no need for that. Yeah, you can go searching and you can absolutely work on yourself anytime you want, but it's like we don't need to define what we're here for, because like it shifts and changes all the time. So I like looking at like your season of purpose, or even just the season. What would really honor the season that you're in? And for me, what really honors the season that I'm in now is really doing the work that I love, leaning into my life and having the life that I love, and not depleting myself, making sure I'm replenishing really well, and that I'm living in line with my values and my business values, which are different. And that it's work that really sustains me, but really it like sustains my clients as well. And one way I love to look at this is by looking at your business model and really seeing what is the business model that really can serve you in this season. Because it's so easy to look around and see the way that everybody else, say, like, you're a coach, how are all the other coaches working? You're a consultant, how are all the other consultants working? Are people doing weekly sessions? Are people going in and doing one-day training a month? Maybe you're a health practitioner and you're doing sessions with clients in person at a certain time, or maybe you've moved that online and it's pretty much the same thing. And is your business model really suiting the season that you're in? And as things are rapidly changing, particularly with AI and all sorts of other things online, is, is how do you want to be working? Your business model is the way that you not just the way you work with your clients, but how you attract your clients as well. And a lot of women I'm speaking to lately, and I feel it myself, are having like huge resistance to social media and the ways that we've been taught and mostly been doing okay marketing for years. And I know like my previous business and my naturopathy business, my health-based business, I took it online and it became very successful without using social media. I was doing it through blog posts, referrals, and traditional press. And it's when you have a business that mostly focuses on creating clients from social media, does that still serve you? And then when you look at the way that you're working with your clients, is that still serving you? Is that serving your life? Or does it need to look another way? And that's why one of my clients called me the other day. She said, "You're just the simplifier. You've simplified my brain and my business." I'm like, "You're welcome." I thought, "I'll take that. You can call me the simplifier." And it is that, like, I seem to have these magical powers of speaking to clients and being able to just say, like, some sort of innovative, out of the box thinking that really helps me to see how they could be doing it in a much simpler way because they've been making it too complicated because they're just doing it the way that everybody else has told them to do it. And that very often they're modeling the way that maybe their previous coaches and mentors, or even the way that I have been running my business. Many of my clients lean into that way, and I'm just like, no, you don't need to do what I do, but let's explore ways that would work for you. And I really feel like that's the core of really flourishing in your business is to be able to set up your work in a way that really serves you and serves the way that you operate and serves the way that your energy is now and how your life is now. Because there are seasons where you have to just grab tiny pockets of time and do your business and that. And there's other times when you've got an abundance of time and neither of them are better than the other. Like I know that the more time that I have, the more time that I kind of use. Like it's a Parkinson's law. We will fill whatever time we have available to us. And so, like I used to talk in the past about like making 300K in 3 hours a day, 3 days a week, 3 weeks a month, with 3 months off a year. And I kind of created that over the last couple of years. And I'm just like, oh, what do I want? Is that really what I want? And now I'm leading into my next era of looking at like, how do I really want this to look? How do I want it to look now? How do I want it to look in 12 months, 24 months time? And I'm just being really open to sort of hearing my own wisdom around that and not trying to fix anything in a hurry. And it's amazing what's coming through I feel like my next body of work is coming through. And I'm loving my current work so much, and it's created so much spaciousness and abundance in my life that it can allow me to step into my next season without anything radically having to change. I hope that makes sense. But if you'd like to explore what your current and next season looks like and see where you could possibly simplify. And for some people, that's just a little small, little elegant pivot. Some people don't need to change much at all. Maybe they just need to maybe look at pricing, looking at sometimes it's just pricing and boundaries or something like that. But very often it is like, oh, okay, I can see where I'm over giving here and I'm under earning here. And sort of I show them how it could be done in a much simpler way. If you want to have a conversation around that or even contact me around that, I would love to point you in the right direction around that. And will that would be such a joy to do that with you, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts on where you're at right now and what you need moving forward, because it's always great just to lean into, like, what season am I in right now? What would really serve me if I was putting my life first? What could that look like if I wasn't sort of pushing in my business for my business to, like, that my life has to support my business? If it was the other way around, if your business truly was supporting your life, um, I wonder what that would look like for you. If you want to explore that, I'd love to help you with that. But I'd just love to hear your thoughts around that. And I'll be back with you really, really soon. Take care. Sending you lots and lots of love. Bye for now.